The council chamber floated in the void between stars, a crystalline structure older than most civilizations. Elder Thracival extended his luminescent tendrils across the holographic display, his ancient eyes reflecting millennia of wisdom and caution. "The motion stands," he declared, his voice resonating through the quantum field. "Sector 7 Gamma remains under interdiction. The humans must not be contacted." Commander Kiza of the Valoran Empire shifted uncomfortably in her gravitational seat. Her scaled skin, iridescent under the chamber's ambient light, flickered with barely contained frustration. She had heard the warnings before, everyone had. The elders spoke of humanity as if they were sleeping titans, best left undisturbed in their small corner of the galaxy. "With respect, Elder," Kiza began, her voice steady despite her racing hearts, "my scouting reports indicate the humans are barely reaching their own moon. They fight among themselves over resources we consider worthless. They're divided, primitive, and isolated. What possible threat could they pose?" The elder's form pulsed with an ominous crimson. "Commander, you are 3 centuries old. I have observed galaxies rise and fall. The last species that awakened humanity." He paused, and the chamber itself seemed to shudder. "There is a reason the Krell Empire is now only mentioned in archaeological texts." Kiza bowed her head respectfully, but her mind was already made up. The human system contained rare isotopes her empire desperately needed, fuel for their dying sun, resources to feed billions. The Council of Elders were relics, she thought, too cautious to see opportunity when it presented itself. 3 weeks later, Kiza's warship, the Dominion's Pride, emerged from hyperspace at the edge of Earth's solar system. Her crew of 200 warriors represented the finest the Valoran Empire had to offer. Beside her stood Nick, her human liaison, captured from a primitive vessel months ago during an unrelated expedition. Nick was an oddity. Shorter than most Valorans, with strange, flexible skin and unsettling binocular vision. He had learned their language with disturbing speed, and now served as her advisor on human matters. "Commander," Nick said quietly, his voice carrying none of the aggression she'd expected from his species, "I'm asking you one last time. Please reconsider." "Your opinion is noted," Kiza replied dismissively. "Helm, take us to their largest population center. We'll make our demands clear. Give them a demonstration of our weapons. They'll surrender the isotopes and we'll depart. Simple." Nick's face did something Kiza had learned was called a grimace. "Nothing about humans is simple. Commander." The Dominion's Pride descended through Earth's atmosphere, its shields ablaze with re-entry fire. Every military installation on the planet tracked its approach. Within minutes, Kiza's ship hovered above New York City, casting a shadow over millions of upturned faces. "Attention, primitives of Earth," Kiza broadcast in dozens of languages, her translation matrix working flawlessly. "I am Commander Kiza of the Valoran Empire. You will surrender all uranium and plutonium deposits to our collection teams. Resistance will result in annihilation. You have 1 planetary rotation to comply." Nick stood beside her, his face unreadable. "You've just made a terrible mistake. Your species will adapt," Kiza said. "Or you won't. Either way, we take what we need." What happened next would be studied in military academies for generations. Humanity didn't surrender. They didn't even negotiate. Within 6 hours, every nation on Earth had shared their military technology. Ancient enemies became instant allies. Nuclear arsenals were redirected toward orbit. Kiza watched in disbelief as primitive chemical rockets launched by the hundreds, each carrying payloads her sensors initially dismissed as laughably inadequate. "They're attacking with fusion weapons," her tactical officer reported, mandibles clicking with confusion. "But their yield is too low to penetrate our shields." The first missile struck. The Dominion's Pride shuddered but held. Then the second hit, and the third, and the 300th. "Commander!" Her engineer's voice cracked with panic. "They're not trying to penetrate our shields. They're overloading them. The sustained barrage is generating heat faster than our dissipation arrays can handle." Kiza's 4 eyes widened. It was crude, wasteful, and brutally effective.
"Return fire!"
"Destroy their launch sites." But the launch sites were everywhere. Submarines surfaced across every ocean. Mobile launchers emerged from mountains, deserts, and tundra. The humans weren't fighting like a unified military. They were fighting like a planetary immune system attacking a virus. "Commander," Nick said softly, "I need to tell you something about my species. We're persistence hunters. We don't give up. We don't surrender. And we really, really don't like being threatened." The shield generators failed on Deck 7, then Deck 3. Kiza ordered an emergency jump to hyperspace, but the FTL drives were overheating from the constant barrage. Then came the cyber attacks, primitive by galactic standards, but frighteningly creative. Human hackers breached systems the Valorans thought were impregnable, not through superior technology, but through sheer unconventional thinking. They didn't break the encryption. They tricked the system administrators. "We're receiving a transmission," her communications officer announced. "From all of them, every government, together." A dozen human faces appeared on the view screen. Old, young, different colors and features, but all wearing identical expressions of cold determination. "Leave on," said one, a woman with steel gray hair. "Or we'll show you what happens when you awaken sleeping wolves." Kiza ordered the retreat. The Dominion's Pride limped into hyperspace, trailing atmosphere and debris. Of her crew of 243 were dead. Her mighty warship, which had conquered 12 systems, had been crippled by a species that hadn't even colonized their neighboring planets. When Kiza's report reached the Council of Elders, Thracival's response was brief. "Now you understand. Humanity's greatest weapon isn't their technology. It's their refusal to accept defeat. You've given them a common enemy. You've unified them. You've shown them they're not alone in the universe." Nick, released back to Earth as a gesture of peace, stood before the United Nations weeks later. "They'll come back," he told the assembled leaders. "Not the Valorans, but others will hear what happened. Some will want revenge. Others will want to test us." "Let them come," said the Secretary General. And for the first time in human history, the entire chamber erupted in unified agreement. In the void between stars, the Elders updated their records. Beside humanity's entry, they added a new designation in ancient script: Apex Predator, do not engage. The warning had been given. Someone had refused to listen. Humanity was awake now, and they would not be going back to sleep.